So hello, Goswi here, and in this short video I'm going to show you how to use the Contentburger text-to-speech engine to create properly sounding voices for your videos, for your trainings, for your sales videos, for whichever areas that you actually need proper voices. So the first thing that you do is log in to the Contentburger dashboard, and then you pick the workspace that you want to work with. Now this takes you to the dashboard. To get started, you click on compose and then you see the text to audio icon here. But just to note, this is actually an upgrade feature that will require you to actually have the text to speech or the audio podcasting upgrade of Contentburger. But I've also tried to put the link to actually grab this in case you don't have it right now, and then you be able to get little discounts on this particular feature. Now, to proceed, you click on text to audio. This then loads up the text-to-speech engine properly. Now remember, this is just an additional feature in Contentburger, but with the features and the power that we've put into this particular editor, it can rival even the best text-to-speech engine out there. So this is a very robust system, and we've noticed that somehow most people actually ignore this specific feature, probably because there's just a whole lot happening with Contentburger. You have your discovery, you have so many stuff, your content automation. But this alone can actually be the solution for every single voiceover that you will need. So it's powerful enough for you to even use this as a service where you can actually sell on Fiverr or on Upwork, whatever, for big bucks. So this is a very complete system that will actually go a long way. So back to the to explain this specific feature, we have the text-to-speech engine or the text-to-speech editor in this case. Now there are three different approaches for you to actually get started. We've added an article assistant. We actually help you discover an article, and then you can simply drag and drop that article into the editor to start using the text to convert to the audio. Now you have the freedom also to start writing your own text. All you need to do is just type in your own text, blah blah blah, whichever text that you want. Subsequently, you can also just copy and paste your text into this editor if probably you have like a copywriter who have already written the contents for you. You can just paste it at a go. But regardless of whichever approach, any text that you have inside this editor can easily be converted to an audio. For the sake of this demo, I will just look for an article right here. Let me pick this CNN. What it does is it immediately tries to grab the content or the text inside that particular article. Now you can now edit those contents, customize it the way you want, and add your own flow or feeling to the particular content. Now, the most important part of this editor, or should I say the first part of this, is understanding that there are two different speech styles within this editor. Clicking on this icon will actually toggle between two different speech styles, which is the conversational and the newscaster style. Now, if you're using the conversational, it's the tone is slightly different. If you're using the newscaster, it actually brings it out more authoritative. For you to actually change the style, you just have to put your cursor at the beginning of the paragraph, and then you click on switch style. Automatically you see this little drop down here that says newscaster. You can decide to toggle that to conversational as you wish. Now for the next part of that text or next paragraph, you can still click on that icon there, which still does the same thing, and then adds that newscaster. And at the end, you can still, so for each paragraph that you have, all you need to do is just keep adding that. Now you can mix it up, with two different speech styles. So in some areas you can have the newscaster, and then in other areas you can have the conversational. So depending on the type of content that you're writing on, the type of emotion that you need to strike on certain areas, you just switch or toggle those speech style. So that's just one, and that's just a very general approach. But we've actually gone down to give you a whole lot of customization power in all of this. So if you hover or if you highlight any part of text, you see this little pop-up here that gives you way more flexibility in how you can actually position this particular content or the text-to-speech that you're trying to create. So clicking on this icon here, specify whether to say the word at test. Now this is actually a date. So clicking on this, you see like a drop down. Here you can tell it, okay, probably spell this out or maybe call it a date. In this case, this is a date. Now, say we want to say something like let's say 37 members of the MBA came to was in attendance. Okay, so now MBA is a word that should be spelled out like an acronym. So using this same feature, you can actually go down and say spell out. So spell out means when this content or when this audio is being generated, it will actually generate it or call this out as NBA. Now 37 as a number, you can still go down there, say digits. Okay, digits will actually pronounce it as 37 actually, so just leave it normal for now. So there's a whole lot too that you can still do. Looking at this drop down, you can see you have normal, you have spell out, you have cardinal, you have ordinal. It can be a fraction. You can tell it what's a fraction, what's a unit, what's a date, what's a time, what's an address, what's the telephone number, and all of those. So this actually makes it sounds really natural in terms of how it actually pronounces those specific words based on how you've set it. So that's one flexibility that you have, and it's really a lot. Now for this particular demo, I'm not actually creating a proper article, so I'm just going to play around with certain words. But the main goal here is to just show you or showcase all of those customization. But when you are working with yours, you can actually apply these customization in a perfect way, or in the sense that actually makes sense in the overall context of what you're trying to create. Now, and another aspect of this is looking at the alias function. So even if there's a word that you have in your content, but you want the text-to-speech to pronounce that as a certain word or as an alias. So instead of saying state, you can say, okay, I want you to say something else. Now you can simply just type in the text there and then click on enter, and that does that quite easily. So for whichever reason that may be useful to you, you know that you have that ability to do that right here. Then also you can still highlight the text, and looking at this now, you can specify a different language. Say that particular word now is in a different language. There are certain words in English that probably originated from French or whatever. But if you really want that, or if that particular word is in a different language, so you need to just click on that drop down there and then select that particular language. What it does is it tries to understand that language and then pronounces that specific word in that language for you to actually get the best possible pronunciation. Now you have all that. You can actually increase the speech voice. So for the volume now, if for some reason you want to lay more emphasis on a specific word in your content, then what you need to do is increase the volume from, let's say, silent to X soft loud. So if you call it loud or X loud, what that means is when it's trying to generate this audio, it pronounces that specific word with a very high volume or pitch for it to sound really with more emphasis actually. Now you can also select the rate. I can decide to say this particular part of this content, I want it to speed it up and read out this particular part very fast. There are certain times that you're writing some articles, depending on the nature of the article, this might actually come in very useful, where you really want that part of that sentence to be fast for some reason. But again, this is about flexibility. This is about giving you the most features for you to get this to sound as natural or as specific as you want it. So that's another feature that you can use. Then lastly, you can also select a part of speech. Sometimes you have certain words which is spelled in one way but can be a verb or a past tense or a past participle. So depending on where those fit in, you can easily tell it, okay, this, and that can come in very, very crucial, because sometimes you have a word that is live and probably is live or whatever. That might not be the best example, but you get the point. So you can just specify, okay, this particular word is a verb or it's a past tense, a past participle, and then when it gets to that particular word, it pronounces that with that vocabulary in mind. So that is that. Then ultimately you can still change that from a male to a female voice and all of that. And once you, if you want to make like if you made a mistake and you want to take it back, just click on that icon, this icon here, and then it takes it back. So in a nutshell, I've been able to explain some of these features, but you really need to get your hands on this for you to really see it live and actually experience the power that you have right here. So like I said, this is very, very important in how much you can actually use this for. So if you have any need for creating voiceovers for your videos, for your sales videos, for your training or demo videos, this is a very perfect way for you to just put in your test here, use this to generate purely or very natural sounding voiceovers. And also, like I said, you can actually use this feature to even create your own business where you offer this as a service for people, and there are a whole lot of people that need services like this that will pay a lot for you to actually get this done. And the beauty about this is we don't give you limits. There are no limits. Most of those other text-to-speech engines out there, they have limits where you need to pay a certain you pay, and then you get a certain number of characters for you to use. But luckily for you, you have this unlimited, and it's a very, very powerful feature that you should be using. And this video is just about sharing light on this, because we really want you to use this and give us proper customer success or feedback. And in the end, we build this to give you value, and the more value you get from this, the more fulfilled, or the more we actually get to our goal. So once all of this is done, you just click on generate audio, and then the system gets into action and start creating your audio. Sometimes this takes like a few minutes or so. Then once it's done generating that audio, you can click on download right here, or to see what you've done, you click on play. Once it has generated, you can still go back to this test, edit it again, and then regenerate it. So if this takes a while, what you need to do is refresh the page, but typically just give it a few seconds, and then if it doesn't come up automatically, you can just go back here, then click on refresh to refresh the page. Most times, if you've given it, let's say, a minute or two, you definitely see your playback ready, and then the download buttons will be active. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I guess I was rushing this a little bit, but let me know what you think, and if you need more clarification, simple, just send a comment or send me an email to just clarify those issues for you. So I love you, and I hope you do something massive with this. Cheers.